And there's where it all starts with putting this pipe in.
It's supposed to say Captain's Log.
There.
That's weird looking.
Ironwood. So I'm Chris,
And I'm Leslie.
and this is what we call Ironwood Valley. So we bought this property in October of 22, but due to work and weather, we didn't really get started till January 2nd. We borrowed our neighbor's excavator and pushed down trees, opened up a section so we could start our road, get our tile in. We had Dad's little 30-horse Mahindra tractor, and this little tractor just did not like working in the mud. A little too small. Tires are not that great for mud, so did what we had to, work slow to work the road in and get our first bit of access back into this property. With all the trees we took down, it made a royal mess of brush. But a lot of the trees were cedar that I was saving to be able to mill later for our greenhouse. But I had to get rid of the stumps and all the brush. I spent many evenings just burning brush and stumps and cutting firewood out of the mess we made initially with the excavator. Then it was finally time to install the tile. Alright, got my pipe in. Now I'm just going to get some rock on it. Get those two pieces pushed together. And then we can get out of the mud and mess. And it didn't take long to realize that the little Mahindra tractor was probably not going to cut it for all the projects we had ahead of us.
Clearly.
So by the time we fought our way through the mud and finally got our tile put in, we were at the beginning of February and decided it's time to get a puppy. So we already have a black female lab, and now we have Ruger, and I finally got a dump trailer, which has really changed getting things done around here. It's got to be one of the best purchases for all the projects we have. Able to start hauling rock, get my tile installed, and get this project underway.
Go get him, Ruger. Go get him. Come on. Go get him. Go get him. Ruger. 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 Through the mud. No, he went around it. Guess Ruger likes the driveway.
This area here was so wet that we decided to put filter fabric in this section. It was a wet weather spring that kept this area wet all winter long, so made it a mess to get through. And this is Bella, our female lab, who is 10 years older than Ruger. So she's got quite a few years on her. At the point she's just a good dog now. And Ruger's a tornado wrapped in fur, so they get along well. But after getting the tile put in, a week later, I had to start all over. Finally got the tile put in last weekend. And it didn't even make it a week. Now I've got this mess. We had like 4 inches of rain. It floated the tile up and then within after it got stopped up. So now I've got to dig all the rock back off the fabric, dig the tile back out, and start all over again. 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Swear it don't all go that fast.
Yeah, this was majority of a day With the time lapse, it makes it look fast, but I spent quite a while doing this. I didn't want to ruin the fabric just digging it all up, tear the fabric that had only been down a week. With a hand shovel, clean up the fabric, and lay it back so I could dig this out, start again.
Yeah, my pretty white dog's not pretty and white anymore.
So while it stayed terribly wet through January, February, and March, the weather finally warmed up, things got nice, and we bought a new tractor. It's a 2606H Massey Ferguson, a set of plows, and a bush hog, and it was finally time to start the garden. And after fighting with the water all through the spring, or late winter and spring, once we got our garden out, it turned dry, very dry. So just as our plants are starting to come up, it's dry, there's no rain in sight. We had to come up with irrigation for our new expanded garden. Previous garden was just the back corner of our yard, and now we had a much bigger garden with no water close by. And a lot of help from 2 aggravating dogs.
What?
Ruger! Goofy dog.
What is your problem?
We were able to run the sprinkler off of a 2-inch pump and finally get water to our garden just as things were getting dry. So our garden took off, did well, and then 3 weeks later we planted our other half of the garden in corn, but it didn't come up. We had just plants here and there that would actually come through the ground. It should have been thick like this side of the garden here, but little did we know crows were pulling the corn up as it sprouted. So I didn't know that at the time, tilled all this under, replanted it yet again, and that's when we noticed the second time this section came up. So we noticed the crows were pulling it out of the ground. So after getting the garden out, I worked on milling the cedar from the trees that we took out at the road. Got several posts and 1x, 2x for a greenhouse milled up. But then I wanted to get more done on our road. And that's where our previous videos really get started. It's working our way farther back through the road because it's 1,600 feet from the county road to where we want to build. So I started filming the videos working on the road. Then life got hectic, work got busy, and I stopped filming for almost 4 months. I just didn't have time to deal with it. Come home from work, only have a couple hours to do anything, and I just go work on this road. There was so many loads of dirt and rock that I've hauled with this little dump trailer. I would guess it to be several hundred at this point between dirt, rock, and brush. And then the next thing we know, it's fall. At that point I realized I really need to get the road finished, rocked in. So I did get that up to where the bridge goes. And being fall in the woods, it was time to get started logging again. I only logged a very little. And I'm not an expert logger by any means. Know enough to keep from getting hurt, but I'm not great at it. And usually it goes well, but occasionally it doesn't. It hurts to watch this.
All that money hanging in the air.
For 2024, we've got a lot planned, but we'll have to play it by ear on what we actually accomplish. We've got several main projects, side projects, side projects.
Small projects.
The main project that's next on the list is getting the bridge done so we can get into this clearing. Behind us here is where the garage goes, and that will be the following project once that bridge is done. Need to clear out the trees, push out the pad, get gravel and get concrete poured, get started building that hopefully this spring, because we have a wedding in this clearing in September. So I need to have the garage done, all this mess of trees cleaned up, grass sowed. This little area needs to look nice. We need to have a driveway complete to get here. So that will be the main projects of 24. Starting a new side project of selling firewood. Since we have 120 acres to log, I'm doing it myself. I've got all these tops, the hollow butt cuts off of logs. We can't burn that much wood, so I might as well start selling the wood, make some extra money to fund some of the projects here. We've also made another equipment purchase. That was mid-December or so, early December. But really just getting to use it here at the first of the year. So that'll be coming up a couple videos from now. We'd also like to build a pond this summer, weather permitting. If we can have a dry year. The area we want to build in, the field's normally wet. It wants to hold water, stay wet all the time. So instead of fighting it to dry it out, just build a pond in it. But that would take, I'm thinking, a couple weeks of work in dry weather. So hopefully we can get that done. Expand the garden again.
The greenhouse this summer, or?
Don't know. It's not looking good. Also with the garage build, we're fairly confident we're gonna build an apartment in it. So we can go on and move back here to be closer to the work going on with the house, and can go on and rent our house out to help fund yet another project. So for us to move into the apartment, we would have to get the apartment finished out, get the solar done, outdoor wood boiler for heat, septic, rain catchment for water and filtering. So the step from having the garage built to us living in the apartment, that's
A leap.
yeah, there's quite a bit of work and money involved getting to that point. But once we get there, we can rent our house out. That'll help fund more things for the house build later. So 2024's main projects are get that bridge in, get all this dozing done and clearing, garage built, and the house site cleared out, cleaned up, sowed in grass to look nice in September.
It's a lot to do.
Yeah.
So that's what he accomplished in 23 and where we're headed for 24.
Happy New Year.